Hello there, I'm Kyo Cerrone Beatmaker, and welcome to Lounge Ronin, all things, everything. And on this episode, we're going to discuss Ye, the MK Ultra connection. Ye, who was formerly known as Kanye West, I should preface, just in case you are not up to date with the current pop culture. So, um, you know, Kanye had a bit of an interesting um, roller coaster of a ride back in 2022, and his, however you want to call it, his outburst, his uh, truth speaking, his propaganda, whatever you want to call it. Um, he made public a lot of open secrets and made them validated through a lot of his rhetoric and what he was talking about. And we're going to follow another thread by yours truly, Cyclops, the ND experience. And we're going to break down this thread and see what it's about. And I'm just going to share my thoughts and perspectives just like last time. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay. Ye's recent tweets revealed the group responsible for the MK Ultra mind control of artists and celebrities. Does this group overlap with Epstein mega Mossad intelligence blackmail op? So, here is a thread on Harley Pasternak before the beginning. This thread, they are all connected. Harley is the trainer who threatened to institutionalize and medicate Ye back to Zombieland. Okay. And I'll probably do a separate stream on Mr. Harley. But until then, we're just gonna focus on just the general um, connection. And I would say, with Ye, he was the one who kind of like put it out there, essentially, made it kind of known, like, hey, this is what's going on, and I think it was really important and great of him to do that for us. So here we go. Harley works for an area of the Canadian Department of National Defense with a focus in these areas. Uh, Human system integration, social and psychological factors that affect the resolution of conflict, sociological of malice intent, social and cultural factors influencing behavior, literal psyops, predictive programming, all that fun jazz. Catch my if I did a live stream yesterday. Hopefully, because I got a little copyright problem, so I trimmed it out, just waiting for them to look at it again, and hopefully they'll put it back up for me. But we talked about in yesterday's live stream. Shout out to Sam for stopping by and riding on through with me. In that live stream, we talked about the Golden Globes and the ritual themes within them. So, the DND funded McGill University MK Ultra's depattering operation through electroshock, drugs, sensory, sleep deprivation, audio loops, etc. They attempted to erase people's memory, identity, habits, etc. Subjects lost all memory, sense of identity. Some fell into vegetative states. Peep my live stream on Jordan Peterson because he went through some of this stuff. So Dr. Erwin Cameron, who I believe Peterson actually studied under him. Cameron was a leading figure in psychiatric research and was working as a professor in Albany when he was invited to Montreal to become the first director of the recently founded the Allen Memorial Institute, which housed the psychiatric department of the Royal Victoria Hospital and was affiliated with McGill University. Cameron's research was focused on discovering the root cause of mental illness and finding ways to cure them. He believed that the manifestation of mental illness, specifically schizophrenia, was the result of repeated patterns of social unhealthy behavior in patients, and concluded that it could be cured by depatterning these unsound habits. Oof. The depatterning was meant to break down the patient's personality completely in order to rebuild it from scratch, which is a very scary rhetoric and just idea. According to the Canadian government, approximately 80 patients at the Allen Memorial Institute underwent depatterning. The treatment involved putting patients into a prolonged period of sleep for several days through the administration of barbiturates, drugs that depress the central nervous system, and LSD. This was followed by massive doses of electroshock therapy over the course of several weeks, ultimately reducing patients to a childlike state. The method consisted essentially of administration of the 2 to 4 electroshocks daily to point where the patient developed acute confusion, disorientation, and interference with learned habits of eating and bladder and bowel control. Cameron wrote in an article published in the journal Comprehensive Psychiatry in 1962, the patient may also show loss of second language or all knowledge of his material status. Once patients' brains were depatterned, Cameron believed that they would be able to be retaught proper forms of interaction and behavior. This practice, which Cameron dubbed psychic driving, involved subjecting patients to repeated audio recordings in order to reinforce positive messages within their minds. Patients would typically be sedated with muscular paralytic drugs during the process, and they could be exposed to hundreds of thousands of repetitions of a single statement throughout the treatment. Even in the 1950s and 60s, when the experiments were conducted, the practices utilized by Cameron were extreme. Electroshock therapy was commonly used at the time to treat depression. Patients would typically receive the treatment 2 to 3 times per week. Cameron's administration of electroshock to patients multiple times a day over long periods of time, however, was undoubtedly outside of the norm. Yeah, you think? All right. Lost in the talk of Harley were Ye's tweets about Scooter Braun. Scooter is one of the most influential figures in music. He managed Ye, Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, friends with Kardashians. Many speak of his dark side. Is he just a ruthless businessman, or is there more to it? Wait, okay, here, hold on. Let me read I'm a bit sleepy, but tomorrow I promise it will be all love, guys. All love speech, guys, I promise. Since Lex asked me to be specific, this is a hero of mine, David Simon. He's never done anything wrong to me, and neither has Jamie. I know this is random to post while I'm at war, but I have to say I love David Simon. Now let's move on to Scooter. Samuel Scott Scooter Braun is an American entrepreneur, investor, and entertainment executive, known as a manager for artists such as Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, J Balvin, Demi Lovato, and other artists. He is a founder of Schoolboy Records and Ithaca Ventures, co-founder of TQ Ventures, Mythos Studios, and a bunch of other stuff. Okay. Jokes are often made about Scooter being a P for discovering Justin Bieber on YouTube when Justin Bieber was 12 years old. Just jokes, right? No, I would play it, but I don't feel like getting in trouble again. All right. Bieber released some music videos that I added in a Bieber thread. It appears he is also controlled programmed. People have theorized his Yummy video is about how he was ex-abused upon entering the industry at a young age. And this is that thread here. Perhaps I might do a little breakdown on him. Who knows? Here's Where You Are Now. Video is filmed with explicit and demonic imagery. Okay. Help. If you're reading this, it's already too late with a G shot through his head. Damn you, Scooter Braun. Oh, there it is. Oof, okay. In the context of this video, plus the fact that he went on a long mental health hiatus after this, then returned with the Yummy video. Is he blaming Scooter for bringing him into the system, controlling him, partaking in abuse, etc.? Bieber telling Hillary Clinton to check her email for D-pics. Is this all trauma-induced mind control, blackmail related? Wait, did he really say that?
Check your email, Hillary Clinton.
Oh my Lord. Scooter Braun hosted a fundraiser for Hillary at his home in 2015. He was openly considering becoming a politician himself. Interesting. Ye has spoken recently about how Hillary calls Kim and others around him to manipulate them. He also called Kris Jenner's partner, Corey Gamble, a plant. Gamble works for Scooter Braun and was Bieber's tour manager. He's so close with Bieber, he calls him nephew.
While the Clintons got them trying to get people to get vaccinated. I know somebody, I'm not gonna say his name, where Kim and Kris got on the phone with them trying to get them to push the vaccination to black people. Meaning that's how in tuned and how aligned with the Clintons that the Kardashians were through Corey. Through Corey. Corey is a plant. Corey was, Puff Daddy, Manny. You get what I'm saying? Then he was with Justin Bieber when Justin Bieber got in trouble. And then when Bruce did a transition, while the Clintons got them.
Okay.
How close was go out and use your platform to how close was go out and use your platform to push the vaccination away? How close was go out and use your platform to push the vaccination away? I mean, not away, but like take the away part. But
do you feel like at times you were manipulated by political forces through your wife?
I mean, cell phone away, like, or hey, tell Ye to say this away, or hey, attempt manipulation. But yes, there was some manipulation.
All right. Interesting. I see we got someone in the live stream. Hello, hello. If you would so kindly hit that like button, would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. We are discussing Ye and celebrities and potential methods and handlers who have been using MK Ultra techniques. So we're covering a thread by the ND Experience covering said topic. So thank you for coming by. All right, here we go. Oh, Lord. Hold on, guys. Let me get that back up. What the? Sorry about that. Give me a second. Oh, 12. Okay. 12. Yeah, 20. I did that right. Why are you acting like that? Yeah. Okay. Whatever. We'll just work with that. Okay, here we go. And we're back. Sorry about that. Okay. Where were we? All right, we were right around here. Yeah, we were looking at the Bieber sending the D pics. Yeah, Brown was a. Okay, here we go. All right. Braun's fundraiser for Hillary was praised by his good friend Alex Soros. Alex Soros was financially involved in Braun's $330 million purchase of Big Machine Label Group, who owned Taylor Swift's catalog. Interesting. And if you don't know, Taylor Swift lost the rights to her catalog, and she pretty much had to start from scratch. She's, financially okay, but, having to start from scratch like that is not easy. But tells you how it's all connected. Okay, Soros Group and the media classified Taylor's criticism of this purchase as anti-Semitism. Interesting. Ye supported Taylor's efforts to regain control of her music. Taylor's recent album contains the classic MK Ultra signs. So maybe we might do a breakdown of some Taylor Swift. All right. Ye, on numerous occasions, has talked about George Soros sending people after him. He said the same thing about the Clintons.
George Soros, come and meet with me directly. I told you, you ain't gonna send none of these people that you usually send. Charlemagne, we know all the names. George Soros, come and meet with me directly. I told you, you ain't gonna send none of these people that you usually send. Charlemagne, we know all the names. George Soros, come and meet with me directly. I told you, you ain't gonna send none of these people that you usually send. Charlemagne, we know all the names. George Soros, come and meet with me directly. I told you, you ain't gonna send none of these people that you usually send. Charlemagne, we know all the names. George Soros, come and meet with me directly. I told you, you ain't gonna send none of these people that you usually send. Charlemagne, we know all the names. George Soros, come and meet with
Isn't that playing the whole thing?
Meet with me directly. I told you, you ain't gonna send none of these people that you usually send. Charlemagne, we know all the names. George Soros, come and meet with me directly. I told you, you ain't gonna send none of these people that you usually send. Charlemagne, we know all the names. George Soros, come and meet with me directly. I told you, you ain't gonna send none of these people that you.
Interesting. Well, you see, what I find fascinating about all of this is, okay, we got 2 people in the stream. Please hit that like button. It would be greatly appreciated. If you don't know who George Soros is, he's pretty much the guy who's funded all of the woke district attorneys in all of the Democratic held states like California, Chicago. He's not a very good person, to be frank. He's not a good person. He's up there with like the World Economic Forum and all of those shady characters. So it's no surprise that he's being threatened that way, whether it's from Clintons, who there was a guy who made a video, well, like the Clintons body bag or body count, and all these people that were associated with the Clintons who ended up mysteriously Xing themselves off, but they would be found with like hanging with like a shotgun shot to the chest and a bullet to the head, and they would call it a self-inflicting, and it's like, okay. It's funny to me. All right, hold on. What's this? From Kanye West. All right, this is from Kim Kardashian. From my mom. Please tell him to please stop mentioning my name. I'm almost 67 years old, and I don't always feel great, and this stresses me to no end. All right, Kanye's response. Y'all don't have so over my black children, and where they go to school, they will not do Playboy and and X tapes. Tell your Clinton friends to come get me. I'm here. Oh man, those were some wild days when he was on Twitter, talking about all of this. Some wild days. All right, let me make sure we're in the right place. Yep. Okay. In the original Harley thread I linked here, an interesting part in the video was when he talked about Black Mirror blackmail tactics. He said he didn't care if they released a video of him effing a goat. This is how Epstein Mossad blackmail operated. People are recorded in compromising actual situations and are forever controlled. Now, Ye brought this up after talking about them using deep fake tech to possibly frame him. Man, I might have to change the title of this vid. I'd imagine they do digitally create blackmail scenes, regardless how many actors, musicians, media members, etc. were in Epstein's book, flight log, circle, etc. Controlling the programming is as important as anything. You know, that reminds me of a TV show that Stars had, and it was essentially, what was interesting about this TV show was it was based on the young years of Leonardo da Vinci. And it was kind of like this cool, like, you know, he was handsome, you know, he was kind of swashbuckling. It was a fun show. I wanted to watch the last season, the conclusion of it, because I feel like if I were to watch that show right now, a lot of what we're kind of dealing with and seeing would make a heck of a lot of sense. So what was interesting about that particular show was they had one episode where Leonardo needed to come up with a way to he had a friend who was framed for something. I don't remember the specifics, and he essentially used, and this is what's so wild, because it's so funny that it popped up in my brain. He essentially used deep fake blackmail. So what he did, which is absolutely fascinating, was, and because of the time period, it makes it even more cooler, is he used, I don't know if you guys have ever, when you were like in, I'm from the 90s, so this might be a 90s thing, but we used to do these shadow pictures, where we would take a picture, but with our shadow. And essentially, that's what Leonardo da Vinci did in the show. Was he framed this guy by tying him up, with his butt up in the air and a pig strapped onto him, and he took a picture and it looked just like him, and he was like, "Hey, I now have a picture of what looks like a pig going to town on you. And if you don't do this certain thing, I will release this and your entire career." He was like a magistrate, something like that. So that's kind of interesting that even in that show, they were showing how it was like Leonardo DiCaprio came up with the first, like, blackmail. It was well, not really the first, but it was interesting. It was really interesting. I think it's on Stars. I highly recommend anyone check that show out. It's really interesting. Okay. All right. George Soros is heavily involved with the Mega Mossad network agenda. The Mega Group, the core of the Epstein Mossad intelligence operation was co-founded by the Bronfman family. Edgar Bronfman Jr. took his family business, Seagram, into the entertainment world. Seagram purchased Universal in '95, then sold the entertainment division to Venvita in 2000. The Bronfman family became Venvita's largest shareholder, and Bronfman Jr. was named vice chairman. Ye was made headlines for fighting against the control of Universal Vivendi, whatever, something like that. As he did with Soros and the Clintons, he told the Venvita family to come and get him. I actually believe he's referring to the Bronfmans. Why? Vibe do come holla at me. I'm Calabasa. Come and get me. Alright, that's the explanation of the company. I need to see everybody's contracts at Universal and Sony. I'm not gonna watch my people be enslaved. I'm putting my life on the line for my people. The music industry and the NBA are modern day slave ships. I'm the new Moses. Everyone at Universal and Vivendi, please understand that I will do everything in my legal power and use my voice until all artist contracts are changed, starting with getting my masters for my children. I will not stop. I promise you. I'm petty and very personal. Hey, everyone, we're making progress. I'll keep everyone updated on how this meeting with Vivendi goes. If Nikola Tesla had a Twitter, the world would run off AC. Edison killed Tesla's image to control the power. Literally. Tesla and I only mean well for the world. We're not going to get into all of that. But there is some interesting things about Tesla. Meaning that we can argue that Universal and Sony have not supported you fully. And that as a result, they have breached. This is the lawsuit termination nuclear option. If we went that route, we would litigate and ask for your masters as part of a settlement. This is a high risk but high reward strategy. Remasters ownerships we can look into buying. But if Taylor Swift's costs $300 million, yours could cost a lot more, I assume. Remember that if you re-recorded these songs, you could own these new masters outright. Interesting. A much more radical consideration would be to propose an entirely new relationship or joint venture with Universal, one that is equal and not one-sided. I'm not sure you are interested in that, but if could be a Yeezy Media Universal joint venture play, but one where you have the power. Ye responds, I am not open to any form of business with Universal or Sony. Okay, well, that nips that in the bud right there. So, Ye is playing for keeps. Mr. Ye is playing for keeps. I see we got another person in the live stream. Hello, hello. Please feel free to hit the like button, as that would be greatly appreciated. All right, let's get back to it. Okay. The Bronfmans, through Seagram, were the largest shareholder of DuPont. Really? Huh. Ye called Corey Gamble a plant for DuPont. Let's see, I can't. Hold on. I want to be able to scrunch in on that and see it a little bit better. Okay. All right. God has a plan to remove the godless Corey needed to never be here anyway. Damn. And I think he's a nice person. Not a great person, a nice person. Who used to be around Puff's family, then got around Justin Bieber, and then when Chris got divorced, he slid in. He became the TV version of a father figure, and as he always called himself, a real N-word. Just so you know, I'm an island brother, but I'm trying to maintain the level of swearing to a minimum and appropriate when needed. He once told my wife he knew what music she should be listening to, so when I see him a week later, I had him removed from my daughter's birthday party. Oh, man. He did say he was petty and personal. We still never met his family, and I guess we never will. He got my wife linked with the liberals in a deep way. That was his job for some reason. I always felt he worked for DuPont or some organization in that pedigree. Now he's off to his next mission. His job is done. He's not messy enough to do something like this. It's on purpose. I love Chris. This woman is a hero, and she's done what she's had to do to protect her family and make sure they prosper, even if it meant telling everyone not to listen to me. I respect her grind, her hustle, and her minds. Chris is one of the best to ever do it. I would say that's debatable. I mean, she kind of did force her daughter to do, X tapes, but, that's neither here nor there. My new friends at Vivendi. Okay. That's a goofy looking photo. When I spoke to Katie Jacobs, who is on the board of Vivendi, we decided to create a combinator for the music industry so artists have the power and transparency to be in control of our future. No more shady contracts, no more lifelong deals. Universal put my album out without my approval, and they blocked JO2 from being on my album. Okay. Edgar Brofman Sr. and Brofman sisters attended the McGrill MK Ultra location in this thread. They've made major donations to the university. The Brofmans ran NX IVM, the ex-trafficking cult that used MK Ultra Clockwork Orange style mind control. Oh, we might have to do a stream about that one. So NXIVM co-founders Keith Rainier and Nancy Salzman first bonded over their shared hobby, mind control through hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming. Members had zero recollection of meetings with Rainier that lasted hours. Oof. She's a trained nurse and hypnotist. When Rainier and Salzman first met, they bonded over their shared hobby, hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming, a method of changing another person's thoughts through communication techniques. Salzman was a nurse and trained hypnotist. Even before NXIVM, Rainier was implementing hypnosis in his relationships. Natalie Rainier's ex-girlfriend said that Rainier hypnotized her out of her smoking habit. In an interview with Vice, Hassan elaborated on NXIVM's use of NLP specifically. I've talked to more than a few ex-members now who talked about their first meetings with Keith. They have no memory of what happened. These are 2 or 4 hour meetings. As an expert who studied NLP, I think that's indicative of them being put into a hypnotic trance state and specifically given a suggestion that they'll have no recollection of what was said or done, Hassan told Vice. Essentially, there's a direct line between the vow and that meeting at a health food store in 1997 when 2 hypnosis began planning NXIVM. Have you ever been hypnotized? On February 6, 2003, the 10th day of the second seminar, Snyder reportedly began claiming to be pregnant with Rainier's child, a claim allegedly corroborated by Claire Buffman. Clifford recalled, I was told by a NXIVM instructor not to bring her to the hospital. That's what makes me feel really bad. Snyder was last seen leaving this session, of course. Her vehicle was discovered 2 days later in Seward, Alaska, 120 miles from Anchorage. Police recovered a note that read, I attended a course called Executive Success Programs based out of Anchorage, Alaska, and Albany, New York. I was brainwashed and my emotional center of the brain was killed, turned off. I still have feelings in my external skin, but my internal organs are rotting. I am sorry, life. I didn't know I was already dead. May we perish into the future. A separate page added, no need to search for my body. Oh my Lord. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I was reading. I got caught up. But that is crazy. That's wild. Man, what? Oh, well, that's probably why. So I was reading this here. This is crazy. So Snyder, okay, so she reported. Man, that's crazy. No need to search for my body. Oy, oy, oy. Okay. Well, here's part 2 of MK Ultra techniques. I'll put that in the bookmark. I'll save that for next stream. But wow, is that wild? Now, you know, there have been a lot of talks about MK Ultra, a lot of discussions about it. I mean, you know, and predictive programming, all of that. We ourselves. Hey there, Bryden. Good to see you. Good to see you. What is up? What is up? No worries, sir. No worries. We were just talking about going through this thread. Essentially, this thread was pretty much about it's like a light introduction into MK Ultra and mind control, and how it kind of all started with Kanye. Well, no, I shouldn't say it all started with Kanye, but yes, it's so good to see you. I'm glad you're here. I'm probably going to be doing another live stream tonight, later on tonight, because there's a part 2 to this MK Ultra thread that I'm definitely want to cover. But I wanted to just get this part out here, dip my toes in a little bit. But you know, essentially, what I guess the theme for the next for the rest of this week and maybe even the weekend is we're just going to be talking about, you know, about the mind control, the predictive programming, and how it connects to celebrities, in Hollywood and the elites. And this individual right up here, that is a trainer who was made famous. He was made famous for sending out a tweet threatening to put Kanye, threatening to drug Kanye, institutionalize him, and lock him up in a zombie mind state. Something like that. I'm not quoting it correctly. But it's where what Kanye kind of did was when he came out and did all of his crazy talking, and calling out a lot of people, he kind of made the open secret known in regards to mind control and how it connects to intelligence agencies and Hollywood. And his trainer, this guy right here, he created drugs for the purpose of essentially kind of controlling people, putting them in certain types of mind states. And he worked, and if you have some time, Bryden, I did do a live stream talking about Jordan Peterson and his ties to MK Ultra, which you might find pretty fascinating. And it kind of ties into his current state of mind at the moment and what's kind of going on with him. So, we're just seeing the veil continue to get lifted, and we're seeing how these celebrities, and in particular, really Kanye, really kind of opened the floodgates for people to really start paying more attention to what's going on. And, when I say that, the mind control and it's tied to intelligence agencies, Ben Affleck, he once was quoted saying that, the CIA is just one side, or Hollywood is just one side of the CIA. And we all know that the CIA is also works in, doing propaganda. All of these top, intelligence agencies, they all have their own, propaganda department. And even within that, they will use, celebrities, people to push narratives, to push ideas. And so within this whole video, Bryden, if you're interested in replaying it, we essentially just kind of talk about how many of these celebrities have been essentially reprogrammed by these mind control techniques. My understanding is that they get at people as children, assault them very young, and it creates multiple personalities, so they know how to program and trigger the personality, use them as they need. Yes, you're exactly correct about that. That is something actually in this live stream early on. We talk about Justin Bieber, Bryden, and he does, and I might actually do a live stream on that thread. But even Justin Bieber, in one of his music videos, he condemns a certain individual who we suspect, this guy right here, this man right here. And that is, he managed Justin Bieber, he managed Ariana Grande, and Justin Bieber had done some music videos, essentially, and then Kevin Hart made a joke claiming that guy was a kitty toucher. And in this thread around here, where is it? Which one is it? Yeah, right here. Damn you, Scooter Braun. Now, is he in the thread that the Andy is talking about? Is it possible that Bieber is talking about being, actually assaulted at a young age by Scooter Braun? Hence the whole trauma and mind control, as you brought up, Bryden. And it's kind of funny too, because I don't know if you heard, Bryden, but besides the fact that half of Justin Bieber's face is permanently paralyzed, he's selling his music catalog, and he's selling it for for dirt cheap. If you consider, I forgot, it was 20 million, 200 million, something like that, dirt cheap for Justin Bieber's music catalog. And regardless of whether or not you like Justin Bieber's music, for 200 million for Justin Bieber's music or something like that, it's pretty dirt cheap. But what was interesting about it is that a lot of these, they have to put out this stuff, the manufacturing of consent, of allowing them to continue to do these kind of things. And it's funny that he also, this Scooter guy, he used to be the manager for Demi Lovato. And I don't know if you've noticed or was, but Demi Lovato has pretty much gone off the rails. You're noticing, within these, reprogramming of these celebrities, you're noticing how they will be, because Demi Lovato, she was, a woman about being a woman, and made, and I know she was going through a lot of problems, but she was all about, being a woman and femininity. And then all of a sudden she progressed into this chick with uneven haircuts who's singing to female ghosts who claim that they were actually assaulted by men. How does that happen, right? She didn't go to college like what's happening with a lot of kids who end up going to these liberal colleges and then, come out with uneven haircuts and neck tattoos. And I'm not trying to disrespect or hate on them or anything like that, but there is a reprogramming that we are seeing. And we've all gone through it. If you've gone to, whether it's public schools or even private schools, especially public schools, there is a predictive programming that's going on. And I think right now it's so more and more apparent. Whether you look at, Will Smith, or you look at the situation, Will Smith situation, or Ben Affleck situation, or Kanye West, especially with Kanye West kind of coming out there and saying, hey, these handlers, they're real. It exists. The mind controlling, it exists. So, in the next, when I do my next stream, part 2 of the MK mind control, we're gonna get more delved into that and see what else is there. But I'm also going to be planning on, just to let everyone know, and for Bryden, there's going to be more streams in the future. We're going to touch more on Jordan Peterson and his MK Ultra ties and some weird stuff that he was promoting that got scrubbed from the internet. We're also going to do a Pinocchio thread about the portals and the occult symbolism, and the new one that came out with Disney. So we got a little bit of different things and topics. But also, Bryden, if there are any topics that you are interested in that you would like me to talk about, or anything that that you hear or whispers about, please feel free to share with me. I'm always interested in just looking for different topics and things to share. And it's mostly because I find these things interesting, and I want other people to kind of be aware of it, so they can keep their minds out and see these weird little subtleties that's going on, whether it's in music videos or in the pop culture movements and how people are acting and changing. I'm on the same page. My heart breaks for the visible use of these people for an absolute evil agenda. They were controlled from a young age, but became the perpetrators. No, yeah. You're absolutely right about that. And you can, whether it's in the music industry, whether it's in the entertainment business, it's right. It's unfortunate of how blatantly obvious It is, and it's scary too, because it makes you kind of wonder. Um, Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can find a video of Katy Perry. I'm trying to see if I can, because Brian, you'd get a kick out of this video of Katy Perry. Let me see if I can pull it up, and we'll end on that note of this video of Katy Perry, because it is a wild video. Hopefully they still have it online. But there's a video of Katy Perry and her eyes, and let me tell you, one eye was like watching a robot like have a like a glitch. It was the most disturbing thing ever. Perry eyes glitching. Oh man, did they scrub that from the internet? I hope not, because it was such a bizarre video of her, and it added to like the funny. People have told me I look like Katy Perry, not knowing and thinking it's a compliment. Oh dear. Be careful, Bryden. The next thing you know, Katy Perry goes missing, and then you're up there standing in for Katy Perry, and you're the new Katy Perry. They don't mind wiped you, and all of a sudden you're singing and dancing and doing backflips. Be careful now. Man, so I don't think the video, but man, oh man, was it a trip? It honestly was a trip to see her eyes just kind of like fritz out. But if I find it, I'll pull it up into the second into the next live stream, and we'll catch on that. Bro, you know what's so funny about it? It's like, so Bryden, I don't know, do you remember when everyone thought that God, what's her name? Was it Avril Lavigne? Remember when everyone thought Avril Lavigne was dead? And then like they were like, wait, no, she's a clone. I don't know what your thoughts are on the whole clone thing out there, but I would say that I have seen some very weird videos of celebrities that I don't know if they're clones or if they're androids, but like there's been some weird videos of Meghan Markle where she's not. You ever remember those animatronics like at Chuck E. Cheese, or I've never been to Disney World, but they have those like animatronics, and they don't move the best. There have been videos of Meghan Markle moving like an animatronic person. It's really, really bizarre. I might have to pull up some of those videos for the live stream for later tonight, but okay, yes. People, all right, so Brandon, have you seen the those like photo collages of like Biden, and like he has his ears, he has earlobes, and then on some videos he doesn't have earlobes. Like it's like, wait, what's going on here? Or like there was recently one where his face looked like his face wouldn't move, but only his eyes. It was so weird. there's been some weird things going on with Biden. I'm under the impression he might be a clone, and he's so old and his genes are so deteriorated that they keep pumping a new one out, but it's just like an old software program. It's at the fritz now. I mean, his last State of the Union address, that man literally missed an entire sentence. Oh my lord. Oh gosh, it's so funny. But yeah, I feel that he may have been replaced a couple times here or there. It's so funny how it's getting harder and harder for them to. Yes, it really is. It's hard to pretend like that is not the original. Then you take in like all of the weird history about like how his original wife died and son died, and all these weird things about like, like ritual sacrifices because he's always said he was going to be president. It's just it's really weird. But you want to hear something crazy, Bryden? I did a live stream talking about the European royal bloodline and how the original royal family were these elongated skull nobility, and how their bloodline connects to the U.S. president bloodline, and how all the presidents are connected and related by blood. So I would peep out that live stream if you want to know how weird it is. Because the reason why I bring that up, right, is because if you're looking at all this whole kind of mind control stuff, it's everything is done with a purpose or a meaning. And that's what's interesting about all these, these symbolisms and the rituals that they do. It's all has a purpose. And I found it really telling and wild that when reading up about the U.S. presidents and how they're all related, you then have to start asking yourself, okay, so about them elections, what's really going on? Because it was even more crazy that the person who figured out that all of the presidents are related was this little white girl from California who turns out to be a cousin of Obama. So it's kind of interesting how it's all like it's kind of like what I forgot what the comedian's name said, but like, it's one big club and you're not in it. And even when you look at people like Kanye West, who was a self-made man who got himself into the club, but then the club wanted to control and manipulate him. And for a time, it seemed like they did, but he broke free from the control. And it's interesting when you hear him. Well, now you don't hear him talk because he was on Twitter, but he posted that George Carlin. Yes, thank you, Brian. Ye got essentially banned off of Instagram and Twitter because he posted a swastika with the Jewish symbol. I can't remember what it was called, but essentially the picture that he posted was actually an ancient spiritual and mythical symbol. So, and it was funny that he posted it on there and then immediately got banned for it. But then when people who are aware of this stuff, they're like, wait, that's nothing bad. He's posting an old, mystical symbolism that's part of the occult and Gnostic teachings. And it's like, you have to start wondering, like, why don't they want us to know about those certain aspects? And why do they push these type of narratives? And I thank Kanye for kind of putting that out there for a lot of people, because I was already learning about this from following various accounts, but when him really putting it out there and making it kind of a normal conversation for all of us to engage in, he definitely did a great impact for us. And part of the reason why I'm doing these threads and putting them out there, Ye is trying to speak truth, and this is part of the reason why I thought it'd be great to put these threads out there online so that other people can be aware of these things and use their own critical thinking skills and their own perspectives to make a decision on how they feel about these elites and these organizations and entities that run these mind control predictive programmings on Hollywood elites, on musical elites, on social commentary elites, and on us as well. And I just want other people out there to be like, hey, this stuff is out there. I know it sounds crazy, but you look at it, you make your own decision, and you decide how you want to move forward with it. Yeah, he does. Here's the thing. Kanye may have some mental health issues, and whether or not they stemmed from the death of his mother or they stemmed from the abuse he was subjected to through the mind controlling, regardless of the fact, he is a very intelligent individual. And I think for a lot of people, because I think he can also see sounds or see, the boy is, he's like a little boy wonder. He's got all these little upgrades that none of us were able to pick up on. But he is a very smart person, and the way he conveys things is not always easy to understand, because it's not meant for you to understand it in a black and white monotheistic type of way. You got to be polytheistic with your thought process when engaging with Ye. Yeah, he's not crazy. He's breaking out of trauma. Exactly. And it's funny too with him, they can't kill him. That's why he has the balls to literally tweet, to literally message his ex-wife Kim and tell her, yo, tell your friends the Clintons to come get me. I'm in Calabasas. Find me. It's like he knows that they can't take him out, because if they take him out, he becomes a martyr, and they don't want him to be a martyr. That's the last thing they want. They don't ever want these people to be martyrs, because if they become a martyr, then they become an idea. And they don't like ideas because that coincides with freedom of thought and individuality. And that's the whole point of mind control, is to take away the individuality. So it's a weird world we live in. But I'm glad that we're able to engage in these conversations and talk about this kind of stuff. And it's also, it's the past 3 years, now we're getting into 4, have been one hell of a predictive programming, trauma-based experiment, you name it. Oh man. Yeah, have you ever seen those photos of Chloe? There are these photos of her that went viral, right? And they didn't go viral for her looks or anything like that. We all know that they got plastic surgery. If we were to look at the photos of how the Kardashians, how they used to look, they were basic looking chicks. Not trying to disrespect them, but they were all pretty basic. There were these photos of Chloe, and it's funny that you bring up Satanic Witch, because the pictures of Chloe, right? Everyone, they weren't looking at her stylish outfit or her makeup. They were looking at her hands, because they looked unnaturally thin and long and veiny. And I'm sure, Bryden, you've seen enough of those kind of horror movies and the way witches' hands are just thin and just kind of God, what's the word I'm looking for? wrinkly. Like, it was the weirdest thing. It was like all the child blood that they be drinking and everything. She didn't fill it all the way up, so like her hands got left out exposed. So it was just it's funny that you say that, because there have been a lot of photos of, whether it's the Kardashians or even Cardi B. There have been some really suspect photos of her where people are like, are we sure that's Cardi B? Because that kind of looks like some kind of demonic possession. And as you said, Bryden, these people are, they pray to entities. They try to channel beings and entities. It's blatantly apparent. They talk about all of that stuff. Cardi B recently talked about it. Oh man, if I could find that video, I'm gonna try to find that video. But there's a video, Bryden, where Cardi B is pretty much like, she literally in the video, I'm gonna see if I can find it. She literally goes, they want me. I just want to be a mom and raise my kid, but they want me out here, shaking my booty and doing all these things, and I don't want the demon to take over again. She's literally saying that. So when they have those little Freudian slips and they say things like that, for people who are self-aware and who are into this kind of stuff, they hear that and they're like, uh-oh. Does that mean are we going to be getting a WAP 2.0? I mean, I don't know how you can top the first one, but knowing them, they will. He does. And, part of the reason why he wants to break out and save his kids, because he doesn't want his kids to go through the exact same thing that Kim went through, with her mom literally curating the type of X tape to get leaked. Literally. Did you know, Bryden, that there were multiple different X tapes that Kim's mom forced her to do, and they wanted to get the best one, so they had her do multiple different takes? What is this, an episode of Brazzers? So it's really eye-opening how much these people are willing to use their kids to further their agendas, to further their political goals, their social goals. I mean, look what's going on with Dwayne Wade, or who's that basketball player who's married to that actress. He's pretty much cucked by her. I can't remember his name, but he was pretty much like, oh yeah, my son is trans, and the mother was suing him. I think it's something Wade. His mom, the mother was suing him because she was pretty much saying, yeah, the son's not really trans. He's just doing this for financial incentives to get his son to be on Disney. It was a whole thing. So, it's all out there in front of us, these agendas, and using these mind control techniques to further push their agendas and to control people, and not only just individuals, but complete entire masses of people. Like I was saying, the past 4 years now have been one major mind control experiment. And the real question is, did you come out on the other side with your individuality, or did you come out with the hive mentality, bro? Right? And it's so funny, right? If she was so willing, can think about it. That's part of the whole what's the word I'm looking for? Not embarrassed. There's another word for it. Humiliation ritual. There we go. You think about this whole humiliation ritual that Kardashians did, and look what it did. She's a billionaire now. Also, the fact that there was an episode of the Kardashians where not Kim, but her other sister, not Khloe, the other one, she was frying up placenta to feed to her family. All right, you heard that correct. She was frying up placenta to feed to her family. Human placenta, mind you. Not cow or sheep or lamb or pig. Human placenta. So just keep in mind, all right? You know, you got chicks out here with a mouthful of placenta and expecting you to give them a good night's kiss. I'm good. But yes, that concludes part 1 of the MK Ultra connection. I'm going to have to rename the title of this live stream. Yeah, it was built off of clout from Kanye and a really, really half-ass, lazy blowjob. That literally. I mean, I've seen the video. I wouldn't even want to engage in coitus with any of the Kardashians. Damn near probably would suck your soul out, first of all, because they're, witches. But it's like, at least for the Kardashians, in terms of them doing their witchcraft, at least they're able to keep their looks. Unlike Madonna, who is literally turning into the Jigsaw witch. It's crazy. It is so wild. Oh my Lord. Well, every single day it keeps getting stranger and stranger. And more crazy cataclysms after another. Empty vessels indeed. And this whole idea of empty vessels, it's starting to spread to regular people. I'm sure, Bryden, you have interacted with people and you look in their eyes and you're like, where's your soul? What happened? It's even affecting the regular peeps. It's wild. But yes, I will. Yeah, they all look like blow up dolls. they well, it's kind of, they look like blow up dolls, but like during the production they kind of messed up on their faces and they kind of just like stretched them out a little bit or put the wrong nose on them. It's so weird. It's so weird to like look at pictures of the Kardashians beforehand and then to see them now. It's like, man, you literally just completely are. Oh, it's so weird. The whole plastic surgery craze and lip fillers and Brazilian butt lifts. It's all of that stuff is too much for me. It's too much. It's too much. And what's the stuff that they do for the face to make your face nice and smoothie and elasticy? Botox. There we go. Yeah. Botox. I look. If you ever seen, I don't know if you're a fan, Bryden, of Dave Chappelle, but he does this amazing bit from this special of his called For What It's Worth. And he does this amazing bit talking about Botox and how he would get Botox done on his balls so they can be smooth as eggs. And then he would grow the hair back on the bottom parts and then tattoo little faces and have little mean looks. Oh man, that's probably the most you'd ever catch me doing Botox. It's ridiculous, looking like you got a wrinkly sack underneath. Yes, they weren't ugly. They looked normal. They looked like normal, average girls from rich families. But then they turned into these viper reptilian, witches of Hollywood. That would be a hilarious show. The witches of Hollywood. Yeah. It could be like a mock documentary, and it just follows like these upper class, like wealthy chicks who are like witches, and they do all these odd jobs for celebrities. Man, I should get on that. That sounds like a good show. Ooh. But yes, Ladies and gents, that concludes part 1 of the MK Ultra connection. Maybe I'll call it the MK Ultra connection part 1, something like that. I'm gonna work on a name for it. But I'm gonna go hang out, work out, and then I'll be back on later on tonight and we'll do part 2. Thank you very kindly, Bryden, for stopping by. I hope things are going well. I hope this week has been good for you and you're staying positive and focusing on what you can control. The progression of satanic. Yeah, we're that's pretty much where we're at right now. It's so more and more apparent. I mean, I'm sure you caught I don't know if you watched the Grammys, but I'm sure you heard everyone talking about Sam Smith and his crazy satanic show, brought to you by Pfizer. But yes, I will be back on much later. Thank you so much for hanging out here, Bryden. I hope everything's going well. I'll see you later on, and we'll touch on part 2 of the MK Ultra connection. So until then, stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love.